Hi folks. Right, as usual, I don't know what I'm going to paint. I just make it up as I go along. I find it's the best way rather than copying or working from reference material. I did that for years, but now I'm free. Okay, so you see the painting done quickly with very little alterations or mistakes. We turn mistakes into opportunities, or we try to. Alright, let's have a bit of burnt sienna. Remember that colours dry much lighter when they dry. Alright, put a bit of blue, because there's some blue in the sky. I'm looking out my window and I can see some nice bits of blue. Put a bit down here. And the sun's shining brightly on this now. Well, so I don't really want to draw my curtains. I'm going to use some Payne's Grey. No, not Payne's Grey. Some ultramarine and some burnt umber for my. I don't want to go on the blue side. I'll make sure they're nicely. Right, that's more or less what I'm looking at. I'll reclip it and give it a dry. This is the lightweight £90 hot press paper. Superb stuff. I will give it a dry. It's lovely and flat. You wouldn't think so, would you? You can't do this with cheap paper. Well, you can. I used to use, well, I still do occasionally, use the Fabriano £130 studio practice paper. That's very good, but the water doesn't really soak into it, so it stays on the surface, and you can scrape it out quite easily. Not so easy with this paper. But you get a beautiful softness. Sorry, fast forward. I think I prefer my light red and ultramarine for my clouds. They're much warmer than the burnt umber, but I used to use it. Rob Manson used it a lot, if I remember rightly. But he also used Payne's Grey and alizarin, which is a good mix too. But whatever you feel happy with, there's no right or wrong colour. Alright, okay, now this paper you get a lovely soft gentle misted effect. And it looks like the rain's just starting to come down just a little shower this time of year. Alright, so let's do some background stuff. Let's have a bit of bit of ultramarine, bit of light red. At a distance, the hills seem flatter than if you're right on them. I very seldom draw a horizon, but you can if you're confident. You could just mark them out with a ruler. Don't put them on the pencil marks too solid. I know one or two people, they really go into it, but I wouldn't want them to show afterwards. But it doesn't matter. You can do what you like. Now let's have a bit of green, ultramarine and cadmium red, but on the blue side. So let's just put that in. It'll hardly show. So let's make it a bit thicker. Make sure the paint's nice and dissolved. Alright, good bit of sienna now, bit of Payne's grey. It's hard to get away from certain scenes that you're used to doing, but everyone is different. Right, now I'll go slightly more blue now as we come down here. Okay, now when you're painting wet in wet, like I am there on that bit, you have to make the paint thicker, otherwise it just disappears into nothing, like it has there. So I'll use a bit of thick burnt sienna and blue, and just put some of that in there. It's good to have some dark on that horizon because you can always put some gouache yachts, well, at least some impressions of same. So there we go. When that's dry there, I'll put a bit of detail in that in the distance. I put nothing in there, that is way back, but if I develop this a little bit, that will be another plane. So we'll have the foreground, the middle distance, further back, then big distance, then even bigger distance. So we've got about 5 planes. I'm going to use another hake. I'm going to use Frank Clark's big hake. I want a bit of texture in the foreground. So we'll move this up. I've got my board up against my box easel. The bottom here is resting up against a clamped on bit of square timber, and the top of the board is against the panel holder, if you know what I mean. It's a box easel I've had for many years. It cost me an awful lot of money then, but they're not so expensive now. Okay, so we'll do a bit of dry brush because we want that cloud colour in the water. So let's some more up here. It's quite tricky, that. They're supposed to be straight there, parallel. Never mind. Now in that we can put a little bit of just show a little bit of that reflection of the background in that slightly wet dry brush. Maybe just a little bit more deep. Just exploit the wetness. Okay, that's better. So that shows a little bit of reflection in the broken water. Right, clean the brush and we'll go in with some... well, I'll give it a bit of a dry because I want to paint some sort of foreground here. So fast forward through the drying bit. Go. Okay, that will do. You can see the paper's still flat. It's because it's wet all over. A bit there, perhaps. But, right, now we're getting with some sienna, some sandy colour, bit of blue, not blue, some burnt umber. Very similar to one I did yesterday, I think. But as I say, they all turn out differently. And this brush is quite good for texturing. Just pushing the paint, so let's get a bit of Payne's grey, bit of okay, now a bit of grass, so Payne's grey, bit of cad yellow, and bit of shadow. It's not my favourite brush. But it's good for texturing. But I like the way the brush splits, and you can get this sort of grass effect. Now we'll do something the other side. Burnt sienna, raw sienna, sorry. Bit of Payne's grey. If you've got any rogue hairs, pull them out. Bit heavy there. Right, back to that greeny colour. And then just nice windy. Right, look, a bit of more green in there. Okay, I've deliberately gone to one side with that. It's a little bit of water there. But otherwise, it's too far. I should have been pulled even further over, so that you don't look right into the middle of the picture. You need to go look around the picture and see various things. I might even put some bit of building in there, but I want to do something in that background, and better still, finish my tea. If you get little dots here, like splashes, don't try and take them out. Turn them into birds. So you don't need to think about where to put them. Right, okay, now, while that's drying off, I'm going to get my little medium hake. Well, it's not little. Just wet it, stroke the surplus water out, and then very, very faint bluey yellow. Just go over. Put in some hedgerows. Just adds just a little bit of detail over that very faint colour. Hopefully will show. Just going away, smaller fields. Sort of hill farming, these fields. It's a bit strong there. Let's have a bit more there then. Bit more water, run out of water. Okay. Right, well that will do. That's all we need there. Right, now I'm going to use a bit of gouache. If I can find my little chisel brush, it's probably in here somewhere. So there it is. More tea. I'm keeping this all my stuff as simple as I can for those of you that are sort of new to it or making headway with it but need a bit more help. I'm not going to do great portraits of ships coming into harbours, and I'll leave that to those more skilled. But a bit of gouache. Sort of boathouses, bits and pieces. You can change the colour, you can have a bit of a red gouache or pinky. Just a little bit of enlivening as we go along here. Just the light catching on these bits and pieces. Oh, bits of boat and stuff. The gouache does tend to soak in. You don't need to put everything in, but okay, that's it all sort of shows. A bit more gouache and we'll have a bit of sail now, going the way the wind is going. Oh, it all just adds to the illusion of detail. I'm not very boaty, but they're just subtle hints. Now we could put a bit of a line across here because we're going uphill there a bit. Okay, now perhaps a little bit on the shore, just some bit of rigour and some just what you put up, bring down, and sort of just some bits of trunks or just some bits of wood, jetty, and a bit blue. Right, I'm not going to do any more to that. I think that's okay. Put the birds in. One there. Another one there. Okay, just a little bit. That'll do. Put it in about. Oh, sign it. Always sign your work, because you might think it's a load of rubbish, but someone else will love it. If you want to check out the sort of prices I charge for my paintings, go on Etsy. I've got a nice shop there. Got about 70 paintings on there. There's always a link, just click on it. Just want to get that a bit level. No, shouldn't have done that, should I? No problem, we'll just get rid of it. Right, okay, put them out, we'll have a look, we'll see what it looks like. So you can support my work on Patreon. I've got about well over 400 videos on there that you haven't seen. Right, mount. Good old trusty. It's quite a good colour, that. It's well worn out, but well, there we are. Hope you like it. I'll just raise you up a bit. We'll raise you up. That's perhaps a little word about copying. I don't copy. I take my ideas from other artists, of course. Otherwise, if you just lock yourself into a room and don't see any work of other artists, it's a long road to hoe. But we learn from each other. We don't copy slave, you see. If we do, it's for educational purpose and practice, but not to be published, really. But you can paint in the style. We all learn from each other. So don't feel guilty about it, I don't. But all my work is original. But I pick up ideas from other guys, especially with the oil painting. But do your own thing. Practice and practice, but do your own thing, and it's good honest work. Or if you publish on Facebook, for example, a tribute to the artist you work from, that's only fair. But apart from that, it's every man for himself. Right, okay, thanks for watching, bye bye.